Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. I'm Key the Gamer. Today I thought it would be fun to look at some Zelda towns and villages that I'd like to live in. There are several locations that I could have chosen, but I decided just to pick my top 10 for the video, so let's get right into it. What better way to start off the list than a town you essentially build from scratch? Tarrytown starts off as a rocky, uninhabited island, but after completing a few side quests you unlock the From the Ground Up side quest, which is the start of your town building journey. And there's just something special about seeing a town grow from nothing to an actual town, especially after pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into it. You just really get attached to it. Plus, once it's finished, this town has everything you need. You've got your shops, your inn, and just the right amount of people to keep it from feeling cramped. Not only that, you also get a nice view of Lake Akala down below. Overall, it's just a really peaceful town and one I'd like to live in. Next up, we have Hyrule Castletown. It was tough choosing between this one and the one from Ocarina of Time, but then I remembered. This one has cats that you can pick up, so I think it has a beat. This town has just about everything you need. You've got your shops, including Chudley's Fine Goods and fancy trinkets, albeit very overpriced. You've got the fun minigame in the tent, and let's not forget Telma's Bar. After a hard day of work, you go to the bar and relax. You just gotta remember to stay away from the guy crying about his wife cheating on him. He's kinda weird. I will say, one thing that this town struggles from is the amount of people. Walking through the streets can be a struggle sometimes because of all the people. And myself, kind of prefer when there are fewer people in towns. But it's just a minor complaint, so I'm gonna look past it. And another thing we can't forget about is Agatha's Bug Museum. It may be a little weird, but it would be cool to see it in person. So this town definitely has a lot going for it, which is why I decided to put this one on the list. Now this next one technically isn't a town or a village, but it's still a place I'd want to live at. Lon Lon Ranch is a very peaceful place that only consists of 2 buildings, a big field, a horse track to ride horses, and the tower in the back. Honestly, just riding your horses around the ranch alone makes this place so nice. Plus, you can invite some friends over to race horses on the horse track. It'd be so fun. But I could just imagine being a farmer and waking up every day on Lon Lon Ranch and taking care of the horses. But one thing that kind of confused me about this place is all the chickens in the house. I never understood why those were in the house and not outside. Other than that though, I really don't have too much to say about this place, but it's one of my favorite locations, so I decided to squeeze it on the list. Next up, we have another village from Breath of the Wild, Hateno Village. One thing I like a lot about this village is that you can build your own house. It's similar to Tarrytown in that way, but this time it's just the house. It definitely feels like home, especially when you start hanging weapons and shields on your wall that you've collected on your journey that you want to show off. But this village has much more than just customizing your house. It's got a farm on one side and a small foresty area near the entrance. Plus, you're not far from the ocean, so you could go check out the beach if you wanted to. And we can't forget about the Hateno Research Lab at the top of the mountain. From up there, you can overlook the entire village. It's quite the big village, but unlike Hyrule Castle Market, it doesn't feel cramped and full of people. I'd argue it feels like there isn't enough people with how big it is, but I kinda prefer it that way. All in all, it's one of my favorite villages from Breath of the Wild, but there's one I prefer just a little bit more that we'll get to later on in the video. Our next town is Skyloft from Skyward Sword. Now, if you're afraid of heights, this village may not be for you, considering it's way up in the sky. I personally ain't a big fan of heights, but I think I'll be fine as long as I stay away from the edge. Besides that though, I just love this town. Something about it just feels so peaceful. Except for those creepy cat creatures that get mad at you. Yeah, I don't like those guys and they definitely aren't peaceful. This place is just filled with so much personality. Although that may have more to do with the characters, it just feels so alive. You've got your houses on one side, you've got the Knight Academy on the other side, and right blam in the middle you've got what is pretty much a shopping mall. And inside you can buy yourself some potions or maybe some equipment like bombs and arrows. Plus you got the guy that can upgrade stuff, so that's pretty cool. And if that ain't enough for you, you could go outside and flying around is the Beetle Shop where you can go if you want to get ripped off. I mean, come on, 1600 rupees for a piece of heart? Beetle is crazy. But besides all that, I really like the environment. You got your nice trees on one side and a big body of water with a waterfall next to a creepy cave on the other side. This town literally has it all and I would definitely live here. Our next town is Ordon Village. I'd say this is probably the most peaceful town in all of Zelda. Everybody's just so chill, except for the kids. But it's okay, because they get taken away near the start of the game. This one to me is similar to Lon Lon Ranch, I think because of the ranch where the goats are. I guess while making this video I kind of learned something about myself. I guess I really like ranches. But I think it'd be pretty fun to ride around on Epona and wrangle up all the goats. I also really like the way the houses in this village look. Especially Link's house. It's pretty much a tree house, but unlike Link's house in Ocarina of Time, this one is way bigger. It's got a basement, multiple floors, and a little window at the top that you can look out of. I think it'd be cool to have my own tree house. But I could just imagine living here and going to the pond to go fishing, but I'd be sure there weren't any cats around to steal my fish. This village also has a lot of pumpkins growing around, which gives it a fall feel to it, and I kind of like that. It definitely adds to the atmosphere. But overall, this village really doesn't have a lot to it, but I don't think it needs to. It definitely has enough to make me want to live in it. Next, we have my #1 favorite village in Breath of the Wild, Rito Village. Now this one's similar to Skyloft, and if you don't like heights, this one probably isn't for you. But I don't think it's as bad. At least it's not completely in the sky. But this village is just so cool. It's built around a big stone structure, and if you climb to the top, you get a nice view of the surrounding lands, especially the Hebra region that's full of snow. I also like the pine trees nearby. It kind of gives off a Christmas vibe, which I kind of like. I do gotta say though, it might be a little weird living in a place with Ritos, but I'd get used to it. The place also has everything you need from stores to places to rest. It's just such a unique location, which makes it stand out to me. I definitely want to live here. Next up, we have Kakariko Village from Ocarina of Time. I chose this village because I kind of grew up here. This was my first Zelda game and I spent so much time in this place, helping the crazy chicken lady retrieve her chickens, getting the mask for the Death Mountain Guard, and hanging out in the windmill building. A lot of people may disagree because you've got an active volcano nearby, you've got a well full of re-deads, a graveyard that holds the Shadow Temple where people were tortured, and a house full of spiders. But I'm willing to look past all that. This place just feels like home to me, and that may be my nostalgia coming out, but I really like this place. It's also got the shooting gallery, so you have something fun to do. One thing I will say, however, is the carpenter guys are a little creepy. Their faces used to always freak me out as a kid, so living in the same village as them might be a little weird, but I just won't look at them. Besides all of that though, I just really like this town, and I would definitely live in it. My second to last town is Windfall Island. This is my favorite town in Wind Waker, which isn't really saying much since there are only a few towns. But I spent a lot of time in this town as a kid, and it's grown on me. First off, it's on an island, which is already cool, and there's all sorts of unique places here. My favorite place being the auction house. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I shouldn't live here because I would blow all my money trying to get stuff at the auction house. This is also one of the only Zelda locations with a school. For some reason, that gives it more life. I also really like how the windmill in the middle of the island is also kind of a Ferris wheel, so if you want, you can go up there and get a nice view of the entire island and the entire ocean pretty much. Another thing I like a lot is the photographer guy who has all the pictures hanging up, and we can't forget about the best person in this town, Elvis. Okay, he may not be Elvis, but at least he looks like him. This place also has the bar, the bomb shop, and so much more. Considering how small it is, it's jam-packed with stuff. Plus, if I lived here, I'd put on my swimming trunks to hang out by the beach all day long. The only downfall is the kids that always circle around you, wanting to play hide and seek. That might get annoying. But overall, I definitely want to live here, which is why I put it on this list. And the last town of the day, and the town that I'd want to live in the most, is Clocktown. Let's just pretend for a second that the moon isn't falling and going to destroy the town. This is my favorite town in all of Zelda, and there's so much to do here and so many cool places. It actually feels like a living, breathing town, which makes it feel more real. First off, you got the inn that you can stay at. You've got all sorts of mini-games ranging from the shooting gallery to the Deku Scrub minigame. You've also got guards at each entrance, so you'll feel safe. Heck, you've even got a mayor. Has any other Zelda town had one of those? I'm actually not too sure. You've also got multiple shops, and you've got places where you can train with your sword. You've got a slide thing in the north section. And we can't forget about the bomber's hideout. I feel like it'd be really cool to go and explore the observatory and look out at the sky with the big old telescope. Also, I believe this has the perfect amount of people, enough to feel like a town, but not too much to feel crowded. And each person has their own personality. I just love everything about this town. If I lived here, I definitely want to live in that little room where Cafe lives. It just seems so peaceful over there, away from the rest of the town. But overall, I could definitely live here. You know, as long as the moon is way up in the sky and not about to crash. That was 10 Zelda towns I would like to live in. Did I miss any that you would put? If so, let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and check out some more videos on the channel. But as always, thanks for watching.